violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, YouTube? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. Let's get into the video.
Noel discovered the unimaginable when she found Dodd inside her home decapitated.
It's not something I wish on anybody. So, yeah, I'd rather not speak on that.
Wow. That started off pretty crazy. They found a glider woman decapitated in her own home.
Just really sad that it happened.
April Wooten says Dodd was her next door neighbor. In the couple months, Dodd had lived on Boulevard Street in Alton. Wooten says she seemed like a kind-hearted person.
I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I could not imagine anybody putting their hands on her in any type of way, or having to find my daughter like that.
Now Dodd's ex-boyfriend, Deundrea Holloway, faces...
Deundrea Holloway. He must have snapped. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if, maybe he was abusive toward her during the whole situation, and we've been seeing a lot of these domestic situations pop off. Even Kim Fox, found herself in a domestic situation where she was the aggressor. And a lot of times these women are the aggressor. Now, in Deundrea's case, I don't think that's likely, especially from what he did to her. But we did see the Christian Obumseli situation where there were, mixed reports where he was beating on her. She was aggressive toward him. And, we see how that turned out. She ended up stabbing him to death. And, she's still out here thotting it up on OnlyFans. So these things can go either way. I'm willing to bet that, Deundrea was definitely a super gremlin on demon time.
His charges in her death. Noel says he was not the father of Dodd's baby, and they'd been in a tumultuous on-again, off-again relationship for 2 years.
I made contact with her every day to check in. So there was quite a time span that she hadn't responded to me, and so that's what prompted me to go check on her.
They let us know that somebody was found dead next door.
That's when April Wooten learned the unimaginable, that her neighbor, 22-year-old Liese Dodd, had been decapitated.
To have to lose a child that way, and that baby is an extension of her mother and the rest of her family, so they lost a child as well. They lost 2.
Allen's police chief said that Dodd's mother hadn't heard from her in a few days, so last Thursday she went to check up on her daughter and found her in that horrific state.
The crime scene was at Dodd's apartment in Alton, off of Bolivar Street.
They just recently had moved in.
She was 8 months pregnant when she was killed. Her family was planning her baby shower at the end of June.
Her family would not be burying her and their grandchild.
Dodd had an on-again, off-again relationship with 22-year-old.
And Buddy looks rough, man. He just don't look kept up, and I know sometimes you can get away with yourself, but I ain't gonna lie, it look like he don't wash his face. That's just what it looks like. But I don't know what's going on here, but this man straight took Shorty's head off. Like, that is a different level of demon time activities, and it makes you think that this may not have been the first time he's done this. Okay, maybe it is, maybe it has, maybe they were fighting so much, the relationship was toxic and things escalated, he got heated. But I mean, how the heck do you, that's got to take a lot of strength and effort to get through those bones as well. Like, this man is a monster. He really is. Nothing more, honestly.
Deundrea Holloway for about 2 years. Now Holloway faces several charges. Alton Police Chief says
has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child.
We're here as a resource.
Wow. So she was pregnant. She was pregnant. So maybe he was trying to Roe v. Wade the situation, right? Maybe those were his intentions. She didn't want to get rid of the baby. He did. And he took them both out. There's so many lessons to be learned from this. For one, y'all got to stop dealing with these super gremlins on demon time. For two, if the man don't want the baby, at least try and, I don't know, try and ease his mind in some way. Because it's a lot of women out here who getting pregnant and then the guy don't want the kid and then they're going to call him a deadbeat and whatnot. And there's this whole debate, oh, well, you shouldn't have nutted her. But in all actuality, women have the ability to say which child comes to term. And, you know, a lot of these chicks are they're deleting their babies at a high rate. Some of them have deleted their kids before. And with a certain guy, they want the kid. Or maybe it's that time of their life where hey, I want a kid. So a lot of dudes are getting trapped. That doesn't mean you walk away from your responsibilities or take the child and the mother out, but it's an avoidable situation if you guys just sit down at the table, and if you can't do it alone, or if it's gonna get heated if you do it alone, sit down at the table with another, you know, maybe a couple other people, because it looked like this dude, he gonna snap and he might kill everybody in the mug. But whew, this one is wild.
We're here to be supportive.
Maggie Menifee is the executive director of Alive, an organization that advocates for survivors of domestic violence. She has seen an increase in violence and the severity of those cases.
Just this year alone.
Information tonight in the case of a Metro East mother and her unborn baby killed in a heinous murder.
And we do want to warn you here, some of the details of this
are
just really graphic and difficult to hear. Deundrea Holloway is accused of beheading his pregnant ex-girlfriend at her home in Alton. Police say last week, Liese Dodd's mother went to check on her daughter and found her dead. Authorities tell News 4 Holloway put Liese's head in a dumpster. Her baby was due next month.
Wow. Yeah, that man, I mean, he got to go under the, like, he got to get executed straight up for, I mean, he put her head in the dumpster. The baby was due in July. That means she was pregnant. That's past, well, I mean, depending on where they at. I guess it's not past, you know, Roe v. Wade status, but she was very far along. I mean, this guy is a freaking super gremlin on demon time.
This daughter, this mother-to-be, and her family were in the planning stages of a baby shower that was supposed to be at the end of June. But instead, now the family was planning a funeral because of what a monster did.
Woo!
And Holloway faces multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder and dismembering a human body. Alton police have him in custody on a $2 million bond.
Tonight at 6, neighbors and family are remembering a Metro East woman killed in her own home and what many are calling a senseless and brutal murder. It's a disturbing story that we do want to warn you is really graphic.
Liese Dodd's ex-boyfriend is accused of beheading her. News 4's Gabriela Vidal spoke with Dodd's mother about how she hopes her daughter will be remembered.
She was just a loving soul, just a beautiful soul, a beautiful smile.
That's Heidi Knoll describing her 22-year-old daughter, Liese Dodd, over the phone.
She had attended college and was planning on going into the medical field.
A bright soul planning out her life. and the life of her first child, a baby girl due in late July.
I had just sent out invitations the prior Saturday for the baby shower. We were just excited and kind of gathering the items you need to have a baby.
But last week, Noel discovered the unimaginable when she found Dodd inside her home decapitated.
It's not something I wish on anybody.
Guys, I mean, what are your takeaways from this situation? I mean, this, for one, how did she get with this dude? Because that is a question that I would have to ask, but you know, a lot of brothers out here, they're dealing with, you know, she was a little bigger girl, dealing with bigger girls, and these bigger girls, you know, maybe they're not really wanted by guys in their community. So they know that a lot of brothers is dealing with bigger girls. So they in turn hook up, link up, whatever. She liked something about him, which is wild to me. Maybe there were signs, maybe there weren't, but man, dog, I can't even, it ain't really much you could say about, I mean, Buddy straight took her head off and put it in a dumpster. I mean, he's a freaking savage, bruh.
So, yeah, I'd rather not speak on that.
I'm just really sad that it happened.
April Wooten says Dodd was her next door neighbor. In the couple months, Dodd had lived on Boulevard Street in Alton. Wooten says she seemed like a kind-hearted person.
I have a 3-year-old daughter, and I could not imagine anybody putting their hands on her in any type of way or having to find my daughter like that.
Now Dodd's ex-boyfriend, Deundrea Holloway, faces charges in her death. Noel says he was not the father of Dodd's baby, and they'd been in a tumultuous on-again, off-again relationship for 2 years.
Wow. So he wasn't even the father of the child. And here I am thinking that was his baby. So he was not the father of the child. He deleted another man's seed, which, where was he at? Right? Where was that guy at? I mean, my mind's blown at this point. My mind is blown. So, I mean, it sounds like he was like a begrudged ex then, if they were on and off again. Whew.
Or having to find my daughter like that.
Now Dodd's ex-boyfriend, Deundrea Holloway, faces charges in her death. Noel says he was not the father of Dodd's baby, and they'd been in a tumultuous on-again, off-again relationship for 2 years.
I made contact with her every day to check in. So there was quite a time span that she hadn't responded to me, and so that's what prompted me to go check on her.
Noel says she doesn't want her daughter's memory to be the way in which she was killed. Instead, how much she has touched the community with her kindness.
And I just wish she would have known how loved she was. You know, that she wouldn't have ever been alone, that she could have gotten out of this relationship and had a full life.
In Alton, Gabriella Vidal, News 4.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting
just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this son violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dog. Let's get the out of here before these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo! Ain't that nigga Jay
Nah,
Quavius?
that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass
Yeah,
suit on.
that's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
All right, guys. So we got her family side of the story. Now we have to go into his family side of the story. So I did want to bring you guys this article from the Daily Mail. They had a lot on it. Family of, so now he's mentally ill. Mentally ill man decapitated his pregnant ex-girlfriend, says he's not a monster and was failed by the system. Oh, wow. So it's the system's fault. As it's revealed, his mother begged him to break up with her before brutal murder. Okay, Deundrea Holloway is accused of murdering his ex-girlfriend, Liese Dodd. Dodd was 8 months pregnant with her first child. The baby is not thought to have been Holloway's. The suspect's family say he heard dark voices, including one called Ruth. So he had a demon in his mind called Ruth, and not to be mistaken with the Ruth from the Ozarks, right? Or maybe that was his alter ego. But when you start hearing people talk about alter egos, then you gotta skedaddle, okay? His stepfather says he was driven by extreme paranoia that made him think everyone in his family was out to get him. Were there drugs involved? His mother previously told him to end his toxic relationship with Dodd. Her husband has claimed Dodd's severed head was found in a dumpster outside her apartment building. Holloway is being held in custody. It's unclear if he is fit to stand trial. So, okay. So we got that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to listen to what the police said. And then we're going to listen to Deundrea's stepfather.
Hello, everyone. Just to share some additional information about a press release that had just been sent out regarding murder charges related to a murder investigation that was conducted last week. Last week, June 9th, at about 12:59 p.m., the Alton Police Department did respond to a residence in the 3400 block of Boulevard Street in reference to a possible homicide. What was observed, what was learned, what was found is absolutely terrible. Every murder is absolutely terrible. We'll never take that away. But what happened to 22-year-old Liese Dodd, who had just moved to this place in Alton, is beyond irreprehensible. It's abominable. It is completely terrible what happened to her. Deundrea Holloway, 22 years of age, who had an address from the Litchfield area and was from that general area, has been charged with her murder.
Wow.
Some of the things I'm about to share are terrible. So I caution you if you want to continue listening.
I mean, these dudes they are messing up the game. Like, these super gremlins are, I mean, how many stories have I done this week of these dudes taking out they girls? Like, sheesh, man. Let's see what he got to say.
What Deundrea Holloway and it's probably the last time I'm going to use his name, and you will know whenever I'm referring to him. But what that monster was charged with today, about what she went through, can make some people just completely lost for words. That monster, that savage monster, has been charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder.
They don't like him calling him a savage monster. You see all the libs and the BLM brigade, they're like, oh, well, why you gotta call him a savage and monster? He was suffering from mental illness. Like, dude, this motherfucker was a super gremlin on demon time.
2 counts of intentional homicide of an unborn child. Dismembering a human body. I'll say that again. Dismembering a human body.
Ooh.
Offenses relating to motor vehicles, and concealment of a homicidal death. Now, I just mentioned some things that are public that I'll go into a little bit of detail on. Again, so I caution you. That monster and Lisa has had an on and off dating relationship for about 2 years. She was pregnant. She was pregnant with an expected delivery date in late July.
So my thing is, they had an on and off relationship. At one point, was she smacked? Like, when did she get pregnant? And was he still like clapping the cheeks while she was pregnant? That's my question.
Before I forget to mention this, that monster is charged with 2 counts on each of those charges I just mentioned before. Those are relative to the theories of murder. She was savagely killed. She was decapitated.
All right, so there we have it there. Now we are going to listen to DeAndre's stepdaddy cape for him and say that he was not a monster. So we'll end it off on this one, guys. Buckle up.
Hello, I am Chris Hawk. I am Deundrea Holloway's stepdad. I never thought I would be recording a video like this. First of all, I want to offer my condolences to the Dodd family. I cannot imagine what you must be going through. I'm not going to deny that what happened was an extreme act of evil. It was. I don't know how else to explain it. It was an act of evil. I don't know if there's a word that describes it. And over here, we are ashamed. His mom, his sister, we're all shocked. We knew he was capable of violence, but we never...
Okay, what type of violence? What type of... he said he knew he was capable of violence. This man straight chopped off a woman's head. So, what are you talking about, dog? This is wild. And how did y'all... I mean, did they just drop the ball in raising him? You know, they spared the rod. What was it? What was it?
Saw this. We've been trying to get help for him for at least 3 years. But as far as longer term mental care, we were always told that we can't hold them unless they've done something. And now he's being held because he's done something.
Yeah. I mean, but they could have put him into a facility. Was it drugs? It's got to be something, bruh. Or was he just, you know, straight on demon time since birth? I'm trying to figure this out.
Our system fails people with mental problems. I've grown up in an environment with mental problems. And people are kind of left on their own. It's a tragic situation. This is the D that we knew. They're old pictures, but they show that there's a human there.
Okay, so they got some, you know, pictures of him in his, you know, younger days. Looked like he was a hooper, whatnot. But Buddy snapped, man. Woo! He snapped.
That there's a human there. The human does exist. He's not a monster.
All right, now I gotta stop you right there, bruh. You know what? You're right. He's not a monster. He's a super gremlin on demon time.
What he did was savage. What he did was monstrous. He's not a monster. The news could be shared in such a way that says a man beheaded his 8-month-old or his 8 months pregnant ex-girlfriend, and that's all we need. We're all repulsed right there just hearing that. We don't need the hyperbole. We don't need the judgments of intent and motive.
What? I mean, he said the motive was Ruth, so I guess Ruth told him to do this. Now, I don't know who Ruth is, and if y'all made it okay that he played with imaginary friends. I can't completely say it's parenting. He says it's mental health issues. I mean, he was fit enough to hoop, right? So when did he start experiencing these mental health issues? And like I said, is it drugs? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Like, you know, he hit the pipe and then came back with an imaginary friend named Ruth.
I haven't seen any articles that suggest that maybe extreme paranoia was part of it. Again, I grew up with mental illness. I grew up with a mom who experienced paranoia, and it was bad. It was bad. It was something where it was in her head that.
But did she behead anybody though?
Everybody was out to get her, even her own family. This is not me trying to justify what he did. I'm not. I'm trying to counter the narrative that he's a monster. I'm trying to counter the narrative where, as human beings, we are dehumanizing other people. We have to stop it.
I mean, he dehumanized the girl and the baby. I mean, that's as dehumanizing as you can get, right? I mean, he chopped her head off, ended her pregnancy. Like, and then whoever the father was of that child, that guy's information is out the window, like, or his allegiance to, or his connection to that child, that woman, is gone, bro. So I don't know what type of, my question would be, what type of consequence does he think that Deundrea deserves? Because me personally, big dog, I'm gonna have to say, yo, Deundrea got to get put down. Straight up. Like, they need to take him out back after the trial. Make sure they cross their T's, dot their I's, and then boom, take him out back, because it's over. It's done. These super gremlins are on demon time.
We have to stop this. We have to start. I mean, I don't know where the gospel went. A lot of this stuff is coming from Christians who are just straight up calling him a monster. They're saying there's only one answer to this, which is the death penalty, which I agree in a lot of states that's what this would be.
So you do agree with the death penalty?
I'm not advocating that Deundrea should ever be allowed to enter civilized society again. I mean, he's obviously crossed the line there. I'm not advocating.
Cross the line. Yo, he did more than cross the line. He beheaded a pregnant woman that he was on and off again smashing and threw her head in the dumpster. And these are like this is like the liberal mindset. He's so just stuck in that we have to advocate for the people who were failed by the system. Nah, this ain't the system's fault. Don't put that on the system. Don't put that on the system, because if it was really up to the system that they say we living under, he would have been under a guillotine by now. So do not put that on the system, bruh. Okay? Like that, he's on some whole other stuff.
Anything like that. I'm just saying there's a human being here, and it's tragic. It's tragic what mental illness has done to him. And it's unbelievable to me that people who call themselves Christians are just throwing this person away, like his soul, like his
thou shalt not murder,
his humanity, he was human. He was fully human. As a matter of fact, he saved my life on one occasion. And that doesn't mean he's a savior, but the fact that he did an act of evil does not mean he's a monster.
What does that make him then? My thing is, bruh, you probably shouldn't even be talking on this right now. You need to grieve. You need to lay low. You need to... I mean, even sisters don't do all this. Like, they, you see Mama Duck and other people getting on Instagram Live when their kids get killed, but they ain't out here talking about he ain't no monster. He done did it, like... They might say it on the news one time and be done with it. My man made a whole 10-minute video trying to cape for this dude who beheaded a pregnant woman. These super gremlins are on demon time.
He's a human being, and we need to start treating people like human beings, because what we're doing is...
So is that what he did with the young girl that he killed? Treated her like a human being? Treated her unborn child like a human being? Or is that just still a clump of cells? It wasn't actually a baby. It was just a clump of cells, right?
Is we're driving each other into madness. That's what we're doing. And I'm extremely ashamed to see a police chief share a video that does this, and it goes national and international. And nobody talked to us. Nobody took the time to talk to us about anything.
Probably because y'all ain't have the same last name.
Which is upsetting. This is not to discount the tragedy that happened to the Dodd family at all. I'm just saying that if you treat this as him being a monster and keep pushing that narrative that he's savage, that he's savage, that he's savage, he's a monster, he's a monster, he's a monster. What you're doing is you are creating a mythical character, a legend, a...
No, that's not what's happening. He created the mythical character. Ruth. Have you forgotten about Ruth? How many times did he talk to you about Ruth? Okay, that's what we want to know, because y'all created that mythical character. Y'all allowed him to believe in magic fairies and the devil on his shoulder. Y'all did that. It's done. It's over with. Bruh is going under the jail, and hopefully he don't see daylight no more. Like, there is no mythical creature being created except the ones inside of his own head.
A villain. Charles Manson is one of them. Ted Bundy. Any kind of serial killer you can think of. Anybody who does something heinous.
And like I said, we have a lot of serial killers in the community, okay? Even rappers, these guys are bragging about killings. They are serial killers too. King Von, serial killer, okay? All these rappers who talking about, oh, I got bodies, they're serial killers.
We have put on a pedestal, whether we want to admit that or not. All you have to do is flip through the TV to see the true crime stations there are, and we're obsessed with this. So if you're going to sit here and call somebody murder and not a murder, a monster, if you're going to call somebody a monster and at the same time give ratings to the shows that talk about these things all the time and kind of...
Oh my God, bruh, people need to be aware. People need to know if it goes viral. Well, thank God that more people are aware of this. And you know, this story, it really didn't get as big as he's thinking that it is. I cover these stories. This story was here today and gone tomorrow. Like, this story was not something that just lingered in the news cycle. So I don't know what he's talking about. Like, oh, it went national and it's not a... Yeah, people might know your son's name, but dude, there's like 50 Deundreas who I'll do stories on like next week, okay? So it's not like people are just, yeah, we'll remember it. Like, I might do a show like the 100 at the end of the year. Maybe I'll do like the 365 most gruesome murders, deletions, right? Because I got to change up the verbiage because I'm being shadow banned on YouTube. So make sure you guys like, comment, share, subscribe. Okay, but I might do like the most gruesome murders, and this one might be on it. We might come back to this one, but I mean, other than that, bruh, it's gonna be a new Deundrea every week. Ain't that what the Migos said? Oh no, they said it's a new weirdo every week. My bad.
Kind of place these human beings on a pedestal of evil that is
yeah, Deundrea's at the top of that evil pedestal, definitely.
Basically solidified in that place where they are now legends.
Like I said, he's not gonna be a legend. There's a new Deundrea every week. Your Deundrea is not special. Sorry.
If we do that, we are just creating a cyclical problem. We are feeding into the very thing that we supposedly don't want to see. And this news needs to be shared. I'm not saying it doesn't need to be shared, but there are facts that can be shared that make us all realize how repulsive this is without having to dehumanize a human being.
It looks like he has a fat dip in his lip right now.
Just to self-aggrandize yourself by shooting a story into national attention. And
look how he's talking. Doesn't it look like he has a fat dip in his mouth right now? Bro, you need to put the dip down, man. You ain't thinking straight.
I don't know. One thing I know is that I'm not arguing that D didn't do this. I know he did.
You think?
But I'm also going to say that it's been said before, but a lie has made it halfway around the world while the truth is still putting its shoes on.
Oh,
and there's
God.
a whole lot of truth that people aren't seeing here.
So tell us what type of guy Deundrea. You got 57 seconds left. Tell us what type of man Deundrea really is.
And that doesn't mean that D is innocent, but it means that we really need to take mental health seriously, or we're never going to see an end to this kind of thing. And again, I'm sorry for the pain is not a accurate word. It doesn't grasp it. I'm sorry for the sorrow. I'm sorry for the pain. I'm sorry for the anguish. I'm sorry for the mental torture. I'm sorry for the sense of death you feel to the Dodd family. I'm sorry. I am sorry, a million times sorry. And
Sorry ain't gonna cut it.
That's all I have, but the narrative that's out there right now is not accurate.
Gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, and I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.